Really want a new keyboard, but mine works fine. Minus the A keycap that broke. You could just buy it. You can buy individual keys if you want, DJ. But generally, that's the thing. The keys themselves are like not too hard to get a hold of, I would say. Like, just make sure it fits in, sort of. News time? It is news time, Zeus. Which was what we should do. Alright, let's jump in. Let's do it. News time, yo. One day we should change the splash screen for that. Gotta remove my glasses. I'm in my glasses. I want a whole new board, and this is the first thing close that I've even had an excuse had to. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you want to approach it, CJ. You want to go expensive or just get something that suffices. All right, let's do it. This is the news for the 31st of January. Literally the last day of January. And we'll be kicking in February news, which usually is a bit of a slowdown. January is actually got a lot. Usually the end of it's very busy. Usually holiday time for Christmas is pretty dead, so it builds up and it bursts out through January, and then it'll taper off a bit. So we've got a lot here. I'm actually cut a decent amount from this because there's a lot of like sort of minor news that I don't think is worth covering. Yeah, some good stuff in here. A lot of stuff that's very me. Not a lot of stuff. It's interesting because there was a few things like Horizon Zero Dawn and stuff like that that I probably won't talk about just because I don't know. It's hard for me to talk about some of that stuff. On CG, buy a custom. Oh no. Oh, don't do it. Don't convince him. All right, let's do it. All right, this is something that I feel like I need to have a PSA moment here. I talked about it a little bit. I want to say last week or the week before when this news sort of came out. This will roll into Elden Ring as a problem. Dark Souls 3 exploits lets hackers run code on your computer. If you don't know, Dark Souls has a very interesting summoning system. You can invade people, summon in, summon out. However, people have found how to write OS level and machine level computer code that gets drawn in and runs from being an invader in someone else's world. So if you go on online, you might have someone who come into your world and then your computer might just shut off. Then it might not turn on. So what's happening here is essentially the people are running system level code using obviously whatever it's using on your side to read write files to essentially attack low level parts of the computer. So right now, high suggestion is do not play Dark Souls online, and that's pretty scary stuff. What's scarier about it is From Software are aware of it and they're immediately investigating into it, and they need to do something about it, and they really need to do something about it because essentially this same engine is what is being run for Elden Ring. So if they don't resolve this, Elden Ring could be infected with this problem. And this is pretty vicious stuff. This is extreme, like, stuff that terms of service does not protect them from. If this happens, there could be a giant lawsuit against FromSoft. They could have a class action on their hands if they aren't careful about this. So hopefully they can get this fixed. Hopefully they can resolve it. Elden Ring has gone gold, so this is pretty big deal. I don't know what it's going to look like on launch. Ironically, I do think streamers might be a target for something like this as soon as it goes, but this, again, I would like to say this is not something that most people would know how to do. Extreme high level, but I don't know if how distributed this has been. So, yeah, just be aware. This is a pretty awful thing happening, and it's very, very rare for things like this to occur. I'm going to be honest. This is not a common occurrence for people to be able to run this level of code. So online can be a dangerous thing sometimes. It's real cooked. This is one of the new bosses in Elden Ring. It's pretty insane. I can't imagine you're fighting something. You're fighting a dude, and then your computer just locks up, or you smell smoking. Because apparently they can change like apparently voltage rates and things like that. They can. I don't know how they're doing that. They're apparently impacting low-level stuff, such as people's OSs and their motherboards and hardware interactions. No idea how this is happening, but yeah. Keep an eye out, chat. Be careful out there. One Piece game contest won by Kung Fu Dudong Rhythm Game. I don't know too much about this. I actually wish there was a video. I was going to put this in the weird Japanese news, but it seems like an indie developer made like a very cute little game based on the little dugongs from One Piece. I was really wanting to take time to look into this. Basically, he just made little plasticine model stop motions and turned it into a game, and it's very, very cute. But I do wish that I could look at some of the actual things that people have made a bit easier. But if you're interested, there is essentially you can look into the contest itself, which is pretty cute. Are they gonna download my RAM? Well, sometimes you need a bit of some extra RAM in your computer, like me. Maybe I should download some of your RAM, CJ. Stranger in Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origin Basics Battle Trailer. So there was 2 trailers that dropped for Stranger in Paradise. I'm very, 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 very looking forward to this game. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Neo. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy, massive fan of Final Fantasy. So the 2 demos I've played of this, super on board. It looks really good. The story looking pretty fucking cheesy, and the characters a bit weird, but I think it's all tongue-in-cheek and they're very self-aware. This new trailer is pretty fucking good. I will have to be careful. There is a DMCA song in one of the trailers, but
Uncover the dark beginnings of Final Fantasy's first film,
I don't know which one it is.
Stranger of Paradise,
I think it's this one.
Fantasy Origin, developed by Team Ninja.
Team Ninja.
Let's prepare for the battles ahead by starting with the basics.
So visually, this game looks amazing.
Play as Jack, a warrior.
It's very much. It's weird to have it. All I see is Neo in game, but cinematics look very much like
Your task is
Square
to
Enix.
destroy the darkness consuming the
And what's cool about this is there's like it's everything. There's lots of spoilers, not spoilers. There's lots of references to just lots of other Final Fantasy games.
the monsters of this world
So
are tough.
combat-wise, really, it's just Neo. It is not an insane amount to know if you've already played that game. It's very much it's like a Souls game, but it has a stamina system, and you have different classes. But the thing is that's big that people are going on about is because there's 27 different classes. But as we know, it's like Final Fantasy, old school Final Fantasy, where it's classes getting advanced classes. So there is less in there. But visually, I'm just way on board. I'm wondering how tough this combat's going to get in the end, essentially. It sounds like a fake game made for a parody. I'll be honest, it has a bit of that vibe in a sense. I feel like it's so self-aware, but I don't care. This game is fun. This is just a game that's just raw fun. I think it's going to be a tough sell for people maybe after playing Elden Ring, because Elden Ring is the type of thing where essentially that's going to steal all the Souls people, and it'll be a weird scenario again because people did not give Neo time of day for some fucking reason. But it's faster paced Neo, faster paced Souls game essentially. It has DNA from Ninja Gaiden games, but not massively. So as I mentioned, this is the class system, and you can upgrade down the trees to unlock new classes and things like that. So yeah, like Sekiro, Yes, yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. It's probably closer to Sekiro in terms of like how you probably would be pacing combat. A bit more rhythmic, I guess. If you watch my demo playthroughs of it, you'll kind of see the vibe of like how the pace of battles go and things like that. Maybe I should try it? Yeah. Neo is probably closer to Sekiro in some ways as well, but it's the way I like to describe these games. It's like Dark Souls meets Diablo, because it's very gear focused. You can make builds. With classes, there's going to be straight up like an extra level of customizing those classes based on your gear you're getting. Is that girl not wearing any pants?
Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. A brutal and dynamic action RPG.
Is that Odin? No, it's not Sleipnir. It doesn't have six legs. There's so many references, chat. So this cinematic, this trailer has a few things. The other trailer has way more. Like there's literally levels from Final Fantasy 13, 14. There's like references to, I think I've seen references to 6, 5, 1, definitely 2, definitely. There's just a lot in here. So if you're a big Final Fantasy fan, there is going to be a lot of callbacks. It's very fun. ANC. So there is a second Stranger in Paradise trailer, but I don't know where it is. Where did I put it? Here it is. Watch this one as well. This might be the one that I might have to mute.
Watching you risk your lives to save us made me realize something.
So there's obviously some sort of, there's a weird isekai situation, but also a memory thing going on in this game. The story looks like it might be insanity. So essentially, I don't know how to, I guess, describe the story from where it is right now. Because Garland is definitely the MC, but we don't know how he is. Like, is it him in the future? Like, does he, at the end of the story, is this game a weird time loop thing? There's references to our world, but I don't know. The story seems insane. I don't know what the hell's happening in it. This game the graphics look cool. Yeah, I think it looks a more refined version of what they were trying to go for in Neo, and I think next gen makes this cleaner. Neo is very pretty though. It's definitely got the Square Enix polish on it. Especially when it appears to be the option is to punch. Yeah, melee is straight up one of the classes. You can be a player pugilist and ninja. But the second half of the video to 1.5 speed, that's a good idea, but we do need to see visually what's happening. So yeah, you'll notice here, they're in a Mako reactor. So Final Fantasy VII is a reference here. There's some of the ancient civilizations are in the background as well. Jack is so cringe, I think I love it. I think it's deliberate, honestly. But there's interesting dialogue that come out of these bosses. So,
where did I come from?
We're strangers.
Jack. Garland.
It's very awkward dialogue.
I'm a stranger here, likely to wander off before long. And
But I don't understand. So I wonder, I'm going to pause here. So my theory is that this game is actually some strange meta thing, that it might actually be you're a player playing a Final Fantasy game and you're replaying the game and you don't give a shit. Or Jack is actually in the world and he keeps resetting for some reason. And it might be because of a player resetting him, and that's why he doesn't remember anything. I don't know. There's something weird going on in this story.
Sarah,
we're strangers in paradise.
But this is
So,
very special to
as you
me.
can see, it seems to be somewhat his past. And he goes to marry the queen, essentially. And I have no idea. So, is that one of the other characters?
I'm almost there, Jack. Just a little further.
Fuck, is that has to be a Metal Gear reference, right? We're almost there, Jack. I love he has a smartphone out at all times. I know. I want to know what the fuck is up with the smartphone. Damn egg. Alright, this is where we have to mute. This is the DMCA part. So, honestly, it's very gorgeous. Like, and I think that they're leaning into the story a bit more, because if you haven't played Neo is about like historical Japan told through the lens of a war of demons, but those demons essentially are, I guess, how do I describe? Those demons change what the sort of the history of the world and stuff like that. But it's very cool to have that. But this one is just it's not even really rooted what looks like in the actual Final Fantasy on storyline. So I don't really know. It's really hard to tell what's going on here. Like, and there just seems to be dreamlike sequences and dream environments and things, but the voice actor for Jack was VA in Robot Chicken. Who's VA? Was that? Oh, it was a voice actor in Robot Chicken. That's pretty good. That's a weird pick. I'll be playing this in Japanese very likely, but I will say that Chaos, him saying Chaos is that way is pretty funny to me. But I don't know. Square Enix has been on a pretty good tear of recent having good voice acting. However, usually you have a scenario where the voice acting for games that aren't their focus, Square usually has worse voice actors. But it's the Neo team, so hard to say if essentially who's doing a lot of the casting for the voice acting, but the Japan one will generally be pretty good. So, and I mean, they make a point here. I promise you, I won't forget. So, unsure. I honestly think that it's meant to be a storyline. It's kind of very. It almost feels like they've got some sort of Souls loop going on in it. Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to that game. Alright, more Final Fantasy news. Final Fantasy XIV's homeworld transfer service is congested. No shit. So as soon as the Oceanic servers went up, I immediately transferred. I was very excited. However, it was a massive pain in the bum because the system kept just going offline, online, offline, offline. It took a while to get onto the server itself. Once you're there, it's completely fine. Servers are working fantastically. But the transfer itself was pretty rough. People coming from America, coming from Japan, people coming from Europe, various places just to get to Oceania. And I think it's okay now. Immediately, Ravana filled up immediately. I think Sephiroth is now filled up as well. And I think there's one more server that's filled up. So people are very excited to get good ping, and it is good ping. I've got like a sub 15 ms on the server. Fantastic, I love it. Makes the game feel very different, I will say that. But hopefully this means that we will not only get the trial version will hopefully come up again. Sales for the game have gone back up, so you can purchase 14 again because there's now space on services and things like that. But yeah, are you better at dodging things now? Mo, it's really weird. It's kind of a strange thing. Yeah, that's probably how I would describe it, Mo, because I already play endgame raiding stuff, and I was doing it on the lag. So then having a scenario where essentially you don't have that lag anymore, the ability goes out, and you're out way before. I think the biggest thing you notice is actually interacting. So using abilities, you don't have that weird lag. There's something in Final Fantasy XIV called weaving, which is essentially using your off global cooldowns in between your global cooldowns. Every class is built around it. That's just how the combat system is done. Basically, it's you use your things on rotation, but you'll weave other things in rotation in between at appropriate times. And it is so easy to do that now. I actually overdo it sometimes and put too many things in between, and it's a weird feeling to have it be so responsive. Which I had this before when World of Warcraft. I went from American servers to Australian servers, and it's just very nice. It's very, very nice. Highly suggest once the free trial comes up, definitely pick up Final Fantasy. Also, if you're already a player on the servers, go make a character on the Australian servers. Play up to level 30, which I got done in maybe 4 hours or less, and you get 15 days free and 1,000,000 gold. It's just a very easy free lot of shit you can get. So I've got a lot of time up sleeve, which I'm not sure I'm going to make use. Monarch demo appears for Switch, for PS4 and PS5. This is a game I do want to play. I want to find time to play Monarch. It looks really good. It looks fun. Very much up my alley. Just need to find time to play this. There's a lot of stuff coming out at the moment, chat. But this game is pretty dang cool. I don't know how long this trailer is. It's a 2-minute trailer. I mean, if you haven't seen Monarch already, I do maybe suggest checking it.
There's no point in hiding things any further. Powers from the other world are against the natural order. Continued usage of them will cause our world to...
I will say, the in-game school, I feel like they need a shader. This isn't made by an indie-ish developer. Well, it's NIS, but they've got, essentially they've got not their main teams working on it. So you can kind of tell it has a bit of a issue in terms of like shading and stuff. Oh, hello. I'll have to mute that because that's a proper J-pop song. But yeah, so basically how this game is essentially is you become like this underworld sort of skeleton king, and then you fight in this mind universe that is just essentially a tactics style game, and cool looking. The story seems interesting, and I kind of dig the art style. The money seems to have no purpose. Wait, what, in 14? Money becomes very important in endgame. Like if you're wanting to get like good gear and stuff like that, or speed up leveling your crafting and things like that. Or you use the money to purchase housing. When I first played Battlefield on my first PC I built after my gaming laptop, that's how I felt. Yeah, man, it's weird to go from playing a potato machine to an actual good machine, and just realizing how far behind. It's a good way I say, if you're a person who wears glasses, you'll understand this. It's like going from having your eyesight degrade over time and then getting glasses and then going, oh shit, this is what everyone else sees. But yeah, so if you want to play that demo, it is available now on PlayStation and Nintendo. No idea how long the demo is, but I've heard good things. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel downloads exceed 4 million worldwide. Holy shit. I could not have expected this. This is nutty, chat. You guys are insane. Everyone's insane out there. I was looking forward to this. I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, but I was not expecting something happen. I don't really know what the catalyst was. This game didn't get announced properly. It just kind of dropped. It got buzz happen somehow, and everyone started playing this. It helps that it's a free-to-play game that's Yu-Gi-Oh! It is up to mostly current-gen cards. It is the full systems with a weird OCG, TCG rule set, ban list rather. But something happened and this clicked with people. I never would have thought that Yu-Gi-Oh! I could say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a popular thing right now. And it is. And I think nostalgia is doing wonders. I only really hope that Konami can live up to this and follow up from it in terms of adding more content. Because there's 2 other games coming out, but I don't think they'll do as well as this. But holy shit. If you haven't played this, go check it out. It's good, fun, free to play. It is very, very hard to learn for new players. If you never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before, this is probably going to be a nightmare for you. But it's pretty much, if you want to fight someone, if you want to make a deck and just fight someone, it's there. You can just go for it. You will notice that the meta is pretty already established and kind of toxic in my opinion, but it's something that hopefully they're treating this as a live service. They're going to add more content. They'll refine the ban lists faster. They'll essentially, hopefully they look at this and be like, look, we've got a lot of eyes on this. We're getting a lot of money out of this. Let's work on this some more, because visually this game is stunning. I think it feels good. I think that having the single player stories are good, they could be better, and you do get a decent amount of free currency. I think it will penalize players who don't know what they're doing, but I think that you get a decent amount enough to play around and just sort of see if you like what Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels like. But yeah, very cool. The Origin armor set has been added to Monster Hunter Rise on Switch. Gonna be honest, not too interested in this armor set. It's very OG. It's very... If you like this thing, you should go pick it up. I'm still very behind on doing side quests. I think I just need to find time off stream to do it. Like I've been doing... I did a couple of Rise streams recently just to try and catch up and do the hard modes. But there's just too much coming out, chat. It's very hard to just focus on Monster Hunter at the moment. But yeah, I would suggest if you want to get free shit and just that armor set. Elden Ring, Exploring Castle Morn gameplay. So I don't know how long this is. I think this is a decently long trailer. This is kind of spoilerish-y for those who haven't seen this area yet, or are avoiding trailers, I guess. But again, this game looks gorgeous. Watching this trailer is interesting because it very much evokes Bloodborne. It's kind of crazy because I think this might be... The more I look at this game, the more I'm like, this might be my favorite game ever. This might be the game that I might have everything I've ever wanted in a video game. It looks really good, chat. I'm very, very excited. And it's funny because people talk about how it's like, oh, we might have a scenario now where people have hyped up Elden Ring too much. I feel like people who say that have not played a FromSoft game or something, or haven't played modern FromSoft games, because I don't think I've ever been disappointed by a Souls game in any capacity. And that's why, if the rumors are true about them making their Armored Core release, that will be very good too, and mech fans will love the fuck out of that. So yeah, but definitely it's very interesting that the vibes of this very, I don't know, very Bloodborne-y to me, this particular castle and the enemies here. Even Dark Souls 2. I love Dark Souls 2. I've talked about this before. It's a different vibe to the other ones. It's not a bad game. I don't really understand why people hate on it so much. It's very, very strange. I don't know what people are looking for. Sometimes it's like one of those things that I don't think... There's something that people don't quite... They can't really describe to me when I've asked them why they think that Dark Souls 2 is bad compared to Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 1, sorry. And I think there's some sort of like... It's the weird, like, they only want to play that one game. There's never going to be a sequel that they think is good enough. So they'll just say it's not as good as Dark Souls 1. And I don't know. Games happen within a time spectrum. You can't make a thing happen again, I guess. I've just started playing DS3 in the first 5 hours, and that game is a first timer is so horrible. Really interesting, Mo. I think Dark Souls 2 is it's long, is interesting about it. I don't know why they made that game a little bit longer, but I think that and it being so separated in lore, I think people don't like either. But I think that it's not bad in any capacity, so I don't know. I think it's the hype and freshness of the original that's spoiled too. Maybe. I definitely have some gripes with 2. I have gripes with all of them. Like, all of them have their all individual issues. But that's video games. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There is no 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 game. This might become my favorite game. I will find things that I will be like, oh, they probably could have improved this. But from looking at it, it's very much my cup of tea. So, hey at you. It's just an overwhelming amount of enemy spam and boring areas. I think what's weird about 3 is that there's a big... I think the meta idea of people talking about essentially the meme that... and I mean it in the truest sense, not the joke sense. The meme that exists in people's minds of what a Souls game is kind of ended up reflecting back into the developers to make a different, like they wanted to approach it in a way that would be for the fans, but it did alter certain elements of it. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but you can definitely see it reflected. Yeah, and oh my god, this little transition, chat. I know it's kind of a little boss spoiler. I haven't seen this one before, but it's like that little transition. This looks like Bloodborne. You can't tell me this doesn't look like Bloodborne. This looks like the church where you find the poison beast down below. And the fact that it looks like almost like the beach of Kos as well. It's as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, we're in a Bloodborne area now. Shadow of the Colossus, checkmate. I have issues with Shadow in some ways as well. I love Shadows, but definitely something that I'm not, like, nothing is immune to criticism, CJ, ever. Even me. Alright, I'm very excited for that game. Elden Ring, I will talk about it more soon enough. Events. Not a lot of events. There is a particular event that's interesting that I think people might be excited for. I know I am. If you're a fan of Shovel Knight and the team that worked on it, Yacht Club Games, they are doing a presentation. They have not been talking about things, and they've been just making small projects to fund another project. This could be really big. Because they say they have a megaton announcement. I would believe this. I don't think that they're going to just put this out there. I think we are getting a next-gen Shovel Knight. I reckon we might be getting an N64 style Yacht Club Games game. But they're very good at pixel art, so they might not deviate from that. But I'm curious what they will do. We're getting a new game for sure. I wonder if it's a new IP, but I'm very excited to see what they do. Because they're very talented over there, and they know... They lean into giving people what they want. Meet me on a highway with your place in mind. We can discuss how you're wrong. For a second, I thought those NFT apes. What? NFT apes? Is there like a group that's called Yacht Club or something? I believe. Announcements. Okay, this is probably the loaded section of the news segment. Quite a lot here. I was surprised just how much got announced this past week. But we'll definitely start with the fucking thing that people are waiting always for in fighting games. A Baiken DLC drop. She's here. She's here now. Baiken is playable right now. Holy shit. Baiken's been changed. Not visually. She's going to stay the same forever. Bored Ape Yacht Club? Oh, okay. I'll never get sick of old school Japanese intros. An interesting song, I will say that. So, Baiken's Booba may have gotten some people in trouble on YouTube, I will say that. I might get that at some point during this too, but it's okay. Baiken hasn't changed too much. Her design's basically been the same since her conception, but they've kind of made her hair more red again, which is nice.
I get it. I wouldn't want to mess with me either.
Oh, we've got English. We're in English mode.
Gotta hand it to you.
The one-armed samurai that seems to be immortal. And if you haven't noticed, she's changed. She has a fucking grappling hook now. She has a tether that she can throw out, and it completely changes her. But the angry samurai is here to kick your ass. She definitely looks easier to play though now. I kind of want to go back and play. I haven't played Guilty in a little bit now, but she's looking pretty dope, and I want to, I guess, take a bit of time to go back and play, because she looks easier and more fun to me, because Baiken is a very hard character to play for me, because she is an alpha counter style character, And I feel like that she's very quick. You've got to be very quick on chaining, and I'm not that fast. So Baiko has always been one of those characters where visually everyone's like, fuck, she's cool. But a very few players are actually able to play her well, and she has issues to play her super well. So, yeah.
And overwhelm the opponent.
So I won't watch the full thing of how she works, but it's interesting just to see that she pretty much is the core of Baiken back, but they've changed how her alpha counter system works, and she now has a tether. They're probably the biggest things about her. And I've seen some crazy clips already of how this tether works. So basically, the tether works that they'll pull you together so you can chain combos like this. So I'm assuming it'll be... This fixes Baiken's like the thing that a lot of newer players have of comboing off her is a lot easier, but it opens you up. So if you fuck up during your combo, it's going to be one of those things where essentially you could get blown up for grabbing someone and then bringing them in, and then you can't get out of there. I think it's timed. I don't know if it's hits. I think it's timed. Is Sylvanas' VA? Oh, really? Interesting. I didn't know that. Oh my god. Chat, okay, hang on. I'm gonna derail for a second. I don't know if you guys have seen the controversy that's happening at WoW in the WoW space, but Sylvanas' voice actor and a few other people now have come out and said a few things that have made a lot of controversy. If you want to go find out what I'm talking about, maybe go watch Bellua's video on it, or even like Towson and Evelyn. I always forget the other person's name. Maybe go watch their videos on this, because it's fucking mad. Man, World of Warcraft team. But yeah, Baiken looking pretty good. I'll find her supers. Hang on. Oh my god, I love he said that.
While unleashing 3 powerful slashes. Its fast startup and invincibility as it comes out makes
so they're not too flashy. I think that's one of the things that I kind of miss from Exerd is the supers being a bit more flashy, and also having like not having like insta kills is a bit weird. I kind of wish that insta kills were back. I know why people don't want them back. It's a lot of animation work for like something that rarely ever seen. I also really like Danger Time. It's funny because Danger Time's gone, but it's funny. Danger Time is funny. But yeah, her combos look really nice. I really like how she looks like she plays now. So I'm excited to maybe pick. All right. EA announces 3 more Star Wars games. Holy crap. I've heard so many friends say that they do not give a shit about Star Wars anymore. Disney has successfully killed anyone's excitement for Star Wars, except maybe video games sometimes. And I want to let people know, really be cautious of that Quantic Dream one. Like, I've heard some very not great things about how that game's been promoted and what's actually about, and the fact that Quantic Dream are currently in a state of perhaps they're not the right team to be working on something like that right now. But yeah, so they've announced that they're going to be doing 3 more games. Again, I always am just down for if they're going to just make me some Rogue Squadrons. I love Rogue Squadron. I would just kill for another Rogue Squadron, honestly. Just give me a single player shooting experience. Please don't put multiplayer as the primary focus. Please. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Disney are just giving us a lot. Give us 1313. That looked awesome. What's 1313? The Axed game? That Axe game will never happen, CJ, honestly. I think that's one of the biggest disappointments, but that would have been so costly. Some games are very, very costly, and I understand why they don't come about. And yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what this ends up being. Axed the game when Disney took over. Yeah, I think understandably why that one got axed. That would have been just a really, really expensive game to make. Crisis 4 announced. We kind of knew this was coming. I think I talked about the teaser like half a year ago, or the leaks about it. But yeah, probably a little late. I don't know. Crisis was always the thing that I never was like excited beyond the original. Story never interested me. The mechanics were very good, but they didn't really change it up enough that I got interested. But I think that this is something that perhaps there will be some excitement for it, but really hard to say. I think if the Crytek team are still ahead of their game, which is very unlikely because Epic has now carried so much, that perhaps if there's some new mechanical stuff in this, that might bring them out of the shade so other people will focus on it. But the name Crysis lives in a lot of people's memories now, so perhaps that will be enough to sell people. Hard to say. Crysis 2 is good. I was not as much of a fan of Crysis, I think because that's not my style of game, that I kind of bounced off them, but your automated message from your community to remind you to play the game Fossil Fighters on the 3DS, on the Nintendo DS. Thank you, Indominus. I had a friend who was a huge Crysis fan. 3 killed it for him. He had 100 hours of the multiplayer. See, I didn't play the multiplayer. Again, I was more of the single player person. That style of shooter never really brought me into the multiplayer. But again, there's definitely going to be fans out there. Blizzard Entertainment announces a new survival IP. So this is outside, of course, this isn't Microsoft doing it. This has been something they've been working on for a while. But it'll be the first original universe since 2016's Overwatch. Blizzard needed to do this for a while. They're really needing to have made something new. They needed to figure out what they want to do. But supposedly it's going to be a survival game, which is extremely different to anything that they've ever done. There is no game in Blizzard's repertoire has ever made survival mechanics. No idea what this could be. I don't know the size of the team. There has been rumors, but what I did read is that supposedly this is not the game that Lost King Survival. Fuck. Oh my god, CJ, that would be amazing. I'd be so into that. That'd be really dope, actually. But that's not the game that I've heard rumored. There is apparently one other game that people thought was supposed to be announced this year from Blizzard, and it's not this. So, unsure what's happening with that, whether it's in some sort of like development hell, or it's being delayed, or really what's happening with it. But there are 2 teams that we're now aware of working on new stuff, which makes sense because Blizzard may be moved to a skeleton crew at some point, depending on what's going to happen with Overwatch 2, whether or not it gets axed finally or it actually comes out. The other thing is the Diablo team is way underway developing their game. A new expansion for WoW has been rumored. We're pretty sure we know what it is, and I'm having a mental blank on the team. Oh yeah, the dismantlement of a couple of other things like Hearthstone and stuff like that. There's a lot of like weird floating team members right now, so perhaps the Hearthstone people are some of the ones that are working on these projects. But yeah, they are the new developers, of course, like the younger blood, so we'll see. Okay, keep going. The Overture of Elden Ring book will debut in February. So this is something I'm excited for. This looks pretty dope. It is a book on Elden Ring before Elden Ring comes out, and if you know, I'm a big fan of fantasy novels, and essentially I like lore. I like high fantasy lore so much that this will be probably a fantastic read. I don't know who the writer is making it. I don't know if this said here. Have they said who it is? Don't think they've said who the writer is, but I wonder if it's written by one of the Japanese devs or one of the writers, and then it's essentially getting translated. So Never actually read a translated book, I've just realized. That's an interesting thought. I've never actually read a translated full novel. That'd be cool. But yeah, looking forward to that. Steam Deck orders open on February 25th. The Steam Deck is looking pretty good. I'm probably not going to get it though. I'm very excited to see how people feel about this device. This could be a very big ticket for Steam. I still think that the first version of this will probably be pretty rough. I still think that the size of it, the shape of it, doesn't look comfortable at all. And for long-term play, it really doesn't look like it's appropriate. I also do have an issue with some games using the weird emulated PC to mouse stuff, that I think that'll be weird and the thumbsticks might look uncomfortable. So we'll see how it is. We'll see how well it plays. We'll see how well it does the essentially disconnected play from Steam, whether or not it can actually do synced up well and everything. But it looks good. Genuinely, this could be the next generation of gaming right here. I feel like people are kind of sleeping on this. I feel like I don't see people talking about this so much, but I do think that this could be a really, really big deal. So really hope that this is good. Power Slave, Exhumed launches February 10th. This is just a weird indie one. I saw a weird art style and I wanted to check out the trailer, but I don't think there is a trailer for it. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find one, because it kind of looked like Doom, but it also looked... kind of had like a Doom-esque vibe to it. Ooh, low-res video. So this is just an indie game to throw in there, because I saw I saw like the art style, and I knew like people like Tate and a couple of other people that are big fans of the like Doom mods and things like that. I'm like, this actually looks pretty cool. Oh wait, I didn't realize. Oh, is this a re-release of Exhumed from the PlayStation? Oh, I thought it was an indie new release. Oh, there we go. This was just a pickup news article. I hadn't actually. I only just saw it drop. So like, I only just saw it today. So I thought it'd be worth picking up. Looks good though. It looks like a good HD up-res. Yeah. Fun. AI Siminium Files Nirvana has their release date announced. So I'm very much looking forward to this game, because I think that previous AI was extremely good. If you like your if you want your dark fantasy versions of, I guess, Phoenix Wright and those style of games, maybe look into AI Siminium and complete it before Nirvana comes out, because I can't watch this trailer because I haven't completed the game. I got halfway through and then real life stuff happened and I haven't been able to find time to go back to it. Very heavy story, very, very good story. I'm very excited to see where this game goes, but it looks like there's a new AI, which is now this sexy girl. So you get Sexy Eyeball Friend. Sexy Eyeball Friend? Yeah. If you want to watch the trailer, you might have to check it out yourself. Here's a weird one. Hololive VTuber Minato Aqua will get her own game. Now, Hololive is working on their own individual games within their team to make, like, it seems to be they're making an open world game and I think something else. But I don't know what this is. I'm assuming this might be a very lightweight indie game. But Aqua's cute. She's fun. It's just very funny to have the idea that she's going to have a game. I'm assuming this must be just very lightweight. Like, actual animes don't have games dedicated to them very often. The fact that she's getting one is just very, very interesting. VTubers are big. In Japan, they are even bigger. I can't stress that enough. But, yeah. Speaking of anime, Seven Deadly Sins Origin is an new open world game. There should be a trailer here. So I think this is a Korean MMO. Is it an MMO or is it Korean? Is it Korean just open world? But yeah, I haven't seen this, but just at a glance, I immediately saw what looked like essentially a game that reminded me a lot of Genshin Impact. Oh my god, what's this, CJ? Thank you. Thank you, CJ. It looks pretty. It doesn't necessarily look like a mobile game. I mean, I like Seven Deadly Sins. I think it goes into a silly place at a certain point. Apparently the anime became hot garbage. I sort of stopped watching, but this looks pretty cool. So it looks like it takes place after the... Essentially, not the time skip, but like... It looks like it takes place after the demons are like fully out in the world and stuff, so... I'm going to assume that you have most of the main characters in it, but we're in the golden age of anime action RPGs. We are very much in the age of anime action RPGs, and I'm very, very, very happy. But you'll notice how much it looks like Genshin. And I don't have a problem with that, because Genshin's very good. Unsure if this is a free-to-play game, and I don't imagine that the world is big, because the world shouldn't be big, but it's looks fun from that trailer, so we'll see. We'll see. Alright, that's all the announcements. Time for some business. Alright, like I mentioned, a lot of stuff today. New developer and publisher, New Tales form. So we talked about Blizzard before. We know all about the Blizzard ongoings, all the crazy bullshit about that. But with this, we're going to see some more ex-devs, very high-level devs from these studios reappear in various areas. We've already seen Blizzard staff leave the company and go on to do some pretty substantial stuff. But curious what will happen with this company. They've already sort of got some good like sort of art and stuff they've shown off, but they're not going to be showing any games for quite some time. So keep an eye out for them. New Tales. There is also the chance that they might just disappear into the void, which sometimes happens. Sometimes happens. A lot of indie devs. I can't express how much. If you're an indie dev, you're competing against ex-Blizzard staff. That's the way to think about it sometimes. Pretty insane. More Blizzard news. Well, Activision Blizzard. Raven unionization plans continue without Activision Blizzard's recognition. If you didn't catch this, Raven staff essentially came out about the Activision stuff and were talking about they're overworked, undersupported, all the horrible shit that happened to them, and essentially went down the path of wanting to restructure their business, which they've done, and now they're looking at unionization, but they needed sign-off from Activision, and Activision did not sign off. They completely ignored the request to do so. The deadline had passed. However, that is not going to stop them. They're going to move forward. This is going to be something that's interesting because Microsoft does not have control over Activision Blizzard yet, so they can't say yes, no. But if it says something, essentially...
Prince just subscribed.
Well, I like it. I like it. Why did he do that? That was weird. Hey, Prince. Welcome on in. Thank you for the sub, man. 18 months. That's a long time. That's a long time. A year and a half. Holy shit. How you doing? We're just talking about Blizzard stuff right now. Or Activision stuff, rather. But yeah, I'm really curious to see if Microsoft will dismantle any certain things that change. But very unlikely they will be able to. Once the union's in place, they're going to have to play ball with them. So this is why I said it's a good thing that this is happening now, because it kind of protects them in some way. If they can put this forward, then essentially they'll have protection. Again, I still think the games industry does need to have more unionization going on, whether it be individual company ones or overarching in the business. And I definitely think overarching the business would be, they need some more of it. Holy shit. Honestly, we wish Microsoft would work on their exclusive instead of buying studios. The thing is, buying those studios will make exclusives, but I don't know. I think exclusives are a bad way to think about it, Prince, because if we go down that route, we already know that does not work for them. Their flagship character is money? No, their flagship character is now Crash Bandicoot, or Spyro the Dragon, or Minecraft guy, or Halo guy, or Skyrim guy. Like, they can take their pick of the litter. Microsoft can have whatever mascot they fucking want now. But it's definitely something that it's better for them to become an amorphous blob, in a sense, in the industry, because that's kind of how Sony is. Because Sony doesn't have a mascot. They purchase up businesses and then they just put it out. Like, I think the two main headline companies competing against each other, like, it's those two approaching it in the way they are. This might be the saving thing for Microsoft. The recent purchases, plus the fact that they're making a push on the Game Pass and the PC platform, may be a sign that they've understood in the industry that competing consoles don't necessarily mean that they're going to make money off it. It's sort of a dead end for them now in some ways, just because the industry has changed a lot over the past decade. You mean Master Chief from Fortnite? That's right. The Dovahkiin? The Dovahkiin is theirs. So is Fall Guy. Fall Guy? Fallout Guy. Fallout Boy? One of them. But yeah, I think Microsoft has made some very smart choices over the past few years, and I would like to see it pay off. I think that, again, Phil Spencer is a cool dude, and I think that the Xbox team in particular seem to have their head on their shoulders. Can't really say the same about Sony over the past sort of 5 years or so. They've not great stuff on that side, but they are cold businesses, and they will do as cold businesses do, so. CWA calls for SEC to investigate the Activision Blizzard disclosures. Never ends, chat. This is going to be ongoing. So now the CWA are now involved, and they're looking back at the disclosures because of the fact that there was a lot of lies. There's been a lot of stuff that's coming out, and it's like, even reporting during this essentially investigation, and it's still something that they're getting inaccurate information. This is just going to hurt them in the long run, I feel like, but I don't know. Sony should buy Shonen Jump, then it's GG. I don't know if they would necessarily buy a manga studio. Also, Shonen Jump doesn't have a lot of money. They have a lot of IPs. Say that. Weirdly enough, it's the ones that own a lot of the distribution stuff. They're the ones that are. It's where the cash is at. Fallout Boy. But yeah, I guess we'll see how these investigations go. This will just be ongoing. Again, this lawsuit's still going. Well, if you look at the Riot one, that one's still going as well. Ubisoft's still going, so. Also, welcome in, Klima. Ball of Foy? Ew. 35 US states file antitrust case against Apple in support of Epic. Just in case you forgot, the Epic and Apple lawsuit's still going. There was some findings. There was some like essentially not favoring in the side of Epic, and then there was not favoring in the side of Apple. It's just been going back and forth. But essentially, we're now at a point where stuff has been revealed about lots of different companies through this investigation, which has been good. What you want to happen, and yeah. Seems like the findings on Apple have not been particularly... it's not a happy finding. So it looks like Apple might not necessarily be able to get away with what some of the stuff that they... Perhaps maybe with some money involved there. But yeah. You've been here from the start just lurking? Oh, that's okay, Clooney Man. I like to welcome people in, even if they've only just started chatting. What even started this court case, I don't remember. This is the court case that started due to essentially Fortnite, where essentially Epic was not happy that Apple takes a percentage cut of such a high margin for their platform and restricting their type of in-game currencies and things like that, to have it go through essentially Apple's approval every single time and all that. It's just a lot of Apple's red tape to essentially keep their monopoly in place. Epic sort of fought against it, which is appropriate. Again, I still am in support of Epic for doing the action they did, but it's one of those things where both businesses are very there's greed in business here, and it opened up a can of worms that essentially would reflect in all areas. It's revealed so much stuff. Not even just it, I mean, Google is now involved in this to some degree. I thought that Monopoly was owned by Mattel. Someone ban that man. Alright, now on for some sad news. Sega exits the arcade business after 56 years. Oh man, this one hurts. I've now got some really fond memories of my trip in Japan and spending a huge amount of time in Sega arcades, and it's weird to think that you can look back on the arcade industry for so many years across the globe, and Sega was been there for so long, and the icon that is Japan's Akihabara, having all the Sega arcades alongside the Capcom ones, and both of them dying out to a point that Sega no longer sees value in it after their push. Sega probably has lost a lot of money as well just on the project that they were trying to do to make, essentially, they wanted to make basically online arcades using the servers and the spaces there, and it seems like that was a route that they decided not to go down. I don't know if that cloud service ended up getting picked up. I wonder whether or not Microsoft will look at some of that stuff at some point, but it's pretty sad. Yeah. I don't really know much about Gigo, by the way, so this is the company that will be picking up the branding of it. So technically Sega hasn't really been in control of the Sega arcades for the past, is it year? It might be more than 2 years. COVID really hit it hard, by the way, like impossibly hard. And I don't really know if Gigo is I feel like the brand name is something I recognize, but I don't know if it's a business that's taking over the name or what. So Genda Gigo. So they must, I feel like I must have recognized them. Get into the gaming oasis is what it's short for. Oh my god, that's terrible. Get into the gaming oasis. I mean, I feel like they maybe wanted the punchy 4-letter thing like Sega, but I don't know. You getting mixed up with that Gecko? Maybe. Am I? I don't know. It sounds familiar. Do you know what it makes me think of, CJ? It makes me think of like sweets or like it sounds like an ice cream in Japan for some reason to me, and I don't know why. But yeah. I feel like there's an inevitability here. Arcades are just going to be something that they can't really exist in the modern era. Gaming is too accessible at the home for people to necessarily want to go to spaces like this. They will become a niche, and it will get smaller and smaller and smaller. So, hey, you are in a place where you can buy an arcade machine, maybe get one, keep that, treasure that. I know I want to one day when I get space, but it's definitely something where it's like it will become a stage where it will be just really very isolated entertainment locations that will have proper arcade stuff. And I think that the big arcade scene is just it's dying, and I don't know if there's any way to save it, honestly. So it's very sad. There's also a gelato place in me called Biko, and another one called Becco. What? Is there something there is there something about like the ice creamy sort of thing that evokes this like weird 4-letter sound. The oh sound. I don't know. And for your dumb news of today, because we didn't really have much dumb news, NFTs. Still more dumb news about NFTs. Ubisoft's VP comes out and says gamers don't get what it could do for them. Oh my god, I saw a couple other things about, and I think there was another article I almost picked up that was in relation to NFTs. And my word. What is happening? What is this world we've entered? I saw like Jimmy Fallon talking about like the NFT monkeys, and there was some celebrity on there, and they talking about picking their monkey, and like what is happening? What weird timeline have we entered? What sort of con artists figured out a way to convince all these people? It's very strange. I feel like I've seen a lot of weird arguments of people talking about in the games industry of NFTs being used in a way that the industry doesn't function and will never function. So I don't know. I don't think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring them. But now, the current situation of context and see gamers really believe it's destroying the planet, because it is. And the second is a tool for speculation. But we obviously see the end game. Giving opportunities to resell their items once they're finished with them and they're finished playing the game itself. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. The way NFTs are is essentially buying individual, like associated items that have been characterized or individualized for a person. Are you saying you're making individual ones? Are you saying that essentially that anything we buy from you is then associated to be an NFT that we can resell to a market? Are you saying that we should bring back the secondhand game market, which we already know you as developers don't like? What is happening? What is going on right now? Only 400,000 wallets worldwide had to interact with NFTs. Yeah, you want to talk about that? It's a weird resale market, to be honest. It's very much, it has a lot of the early day weird Bitcoin, not necessarily Bitcoin itself, but the other digital currencies, where it's like a lot of Illuminati style, like it's in trading, pushing value, promoting it, getting people involved, like to make it get up increase in terms of it's almost like a weird pseudo stocks. It's very strange. I've been trading a secondary market for ages. I've been reselling my Steam cards in the games at 8. I mean, that's a way to look at it, CJ. If that's what you want to call it, fuck. Steam's been on NFTs forever. That's almost not a bad way of. I've never thought of that parallel. That's very good. VTube model is better than NFT. To be honest, that's actually true. Clooney brings up one. VTubers could be considered NFTs in a sense because there's people that are getting individually crafted. But it's very strange because at some point people are talking about the idea that you can just have an image with a branded ID on the image and that would be considered as an individualized, but the image itself is the same as everyone else's. And that could be something that's sold. And it's like, well, where's the individualism and the value of that? Like, it really doesn't quite make sense. People are trying to get on the dumb NFT bandwagon. I think the hard part here is I do think that stakeholders have leapt onto this like vultures and really, there's a greed here. And I don't think they understand that NFTs and Bitcoin and all those extra markets are meant to undo some of the capitalism that exists around essentially what big business is, video games, stakeholders, all that stuff. But then it's this weird thing that feeds back into itself. So I don't know. I was originally interested in NFTs and it started to grow like it did, but when the financial bros started to latch onto it, I think this was cursed from the moment it started. As soon as I heard what it was, I'm like, I don't know. NFT creators getting celebs to shield. I know, CJ. And it's the weird thing is they're very likely getting paid to do so as well. And you can tell because they don't know what they're talking about. There's like weird discussions I've heard where it's like, they don't quite know what it is, but it almost seems like they're doing a paid publicity, which is, might be probable. Tinfoil moment, there is a lot of crazy shit on the internet. Originally, I was hoping for a way to be artists and content creators create unique content, but it's just a rip off other art. Yeah, it's, I don't quite know what this will eventually turn into, whether or not, how long it will exist, but at the end of the day, it is still a form of trade. There is still a form of business trade happening here that I think people need to maybe take a step back with it. But yeah, the fact that the games industry is talking about this in any capacity to me is just insanity. Just I cannot believe that we're in a weird world like this. Who's this? Wait. Is this real? Oh, okay. I thought it was just Lance. For a second there I was like, Lance Armstrong, what, the man that went to the moon? I don't know what this, I don't understand. Who is this? Who's this person? Who's this person, CJ? The fucking vest game on point, looking at the she-drawn line. Who is this? I have no idea who this person is. God, it's so bizarre. He's a cycling guy who did all on performance-enhancing drugs. Right, okay. This person has an insane amount of followers. It always befuddles me sometimes where it's like, I don't know how people get to those numbers. Neil Armstrong was the astronaut. Who is Lance? I guess maybe it was. Maybe I've just gotten them confused. Thank you, Prince. Apparently I'm an idiot. But yeah. NFTs. I wish I could stop hearing about them. NFTs have become my COVID. Where I'm just like, I can't wait for this to be over. Lance Shield live strong bands. Let's see, so he got very heavily into brand marketing. I mean, that's all it takes sometimes, gonna be honest. You're good at entrepreneurial and you've got the limelight and you've got a platform, fucking do it. I don't have the balls to do it, or like, I don't have the goal. I have no time of day for it, but building a brand and then selling it, you make mint if you're good at it. He's the best cyclist in the world and then he got caught. Oh, the bike guy? Clooney knows about it. Apparently I'm the one that's out of the loop here. I know so little about sports. Use yellow bands for testicular cancer they sold at Nike. Friends, my brain went to that people were putting yellow bands on their testicles to promote like testicular cancer, and then it has a little Nike brand on it. It got very weird as a visual image. The one thing I heard about NFT is they try to bank on being the first while not being good quality. Probably. I mean, the thing is, it's the same about a lot of the other coining, all the like mining operations and the coins and stuff like that. Like, there were a lot of them that came out where it's just sort of like, it was just, here's an alternative, get in on our alternative. And the similar thing is happening with the NFT is people are branding and associating themselves so people can then like essentially be the thing that people put their investments in, which is just, I think it's the wrong way to think about that stuff. But anyway, NFTs. I'm tired of them. I can't believe that this is still happening. They did not have live-strung wristbands in Oz. I would have no idea. I haven't heard of them myself, Prince, but I don't think I'm in that necessarily that style of loop. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna take a break, chat. I might actually try and get some food into me, and then we'll jump into Pokemans. So, hope you guys enjoyed the news. Did anyone have any? By the way, so if you guys don't know, I implemented a new system into the stream. I know I respond to a lot of people's questions live, but if there's anything that you want that's like a bigger question or anything that you guys want to talk about, there is, I should have promoted this at the start, there is a community points redeem, essentially about, you can just ask and see if I know anything about a particular thing that I haven't covered, or if there's an article that I haven't covered, then definitely you can put it in the community points and then I can loop back to it. I remember kids at school wearing them. How long ago was this? 13 years ago? That's ages ago. That's ages ago. I legitimately don't remember this at all, Prince, but I maybe it's just not my group of people I knew were into it. You love this segment? Oh, thank you, Archu. I'm glad people appreciate it. Again, I like talking about the games industry. I think the games industry is immensely interesting. I think there's just constantly stuff going on. It's just anything and everything from new releases to development to controversies to like marketing to like things coming out. Like there's just a lot. There's just a lot to talk about, and it's nice to just remind people that the games industry is a living, breathing entity of individuals doing jobs like you, and it's good to be excited about all the art that because games are art that is coming out. There's actually a video that I'm looking forward to watching, which is basically the where is it? It is, I think it's if you've not watched them, chat, Core A Gaming. Core A Gaming do fantastic videos. Their recent video is on why are games still not considered art, and I'm looking forward to watching that. The odds between 20,000, I know, Prince. It gets a little weird when we think about, what was I talking about recently? There was something I was watching / talking about recently, and I was like, fuck, that's like ages ago. That's really weird to some of that stuff. So I think it was someone talking about like, we're an equal distance between, was it Back to the Future maybe? In terms of time frame, like when that was released and how back far that was to how it was in the future. Yeah. Took a while for America. Yeah, it really did. CJ's right about that. That's definitely right on that. Okay, enough news. I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back very shortly with Pokemon. Very much enjoying that game, but I don't know how we're approaching the Nuzlocke. I'm gonna have a think about this. We'll jump in. We'll have a discussion. But I'm a BRB. Bird.